Here's a hard truth. Minnesota has been left in the dust when it comes to federal efforts to bridge the digital divide. Billions of dollars in promises, but the results? Crumbs. And this is the part most people miss. While Washington fumbles, Minnesota has the power, the history, and the success stories to build its own broadband future. But here's where it gets controversial. Should communities keep waiting for federal solutions, or take matters into their own hands? Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here in Minnesota, a state renowned for its strong communities and grassroots problem-solving. I'm thrilled to share the stage with my colleagues, Willmar and Bree Markey. Before diving in, let me introduce you to the American Association for Public Broadband, AAPB. We're on a mission to empower communities by showcasing success stories, protecting them from corporate monopolies, and connecting them with the expertise they need. AAPB is a membership-driven organization, and we'd love for you to join us in this movement to build broadband by the people, for the people. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Federal broadband programs have failed Minnesota. Take the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, RDOF, launched in 2020 with a $6 billion promise. Nationwide, nearly one-third of RDOF projects defaulted, leaving hundreds of thousands of families in the lurch. Minnesota's story is even more heartbreaking. ISPs defaulted on 80% of over $400 million in state RDOF funds, abandoning 78% of the 142,000 locations they were supposed to serve. These aren't just numbers, they're broken promises to real families. Then came the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment (BEAD) program, a $42.5 billion opportunity under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Congress was clear. Prioritize scalable, future-proof infrastructure. The Biden Commerce Department agreed. Only fiber networks fit the bill. But here's where it gets messy. On June 6th, the rules changed. Fiber first became technology neutral, and cost trumped performance. Low Earth orbit satellite companies swooped in with bids as low as $700 per location, a price fiber providers couldn't match. The result? In Minnesota, 22,000 out of 76,000 eligible locations received no bids at all, as 10 fiber providers walked away from a rigged game. Of the remaining locations, only 58% will get fiber. The rest, satellite 25% and fixed wireless 17%. Let's be clear, these aren't long-term solutions. Satellite is expensive, congested, and limited. Fixed wireless can't handle advanced applications. And for nearly a third of BEAD-eligible Minnesota households, there's no solution at all. But that's not the worst part. Congress envisioned leftover BEAD funds being reinvested in workforce development, digital literacy, and public safety, essential supports for thriving networks. Instead, the Commerce Department is clawing back the money, leaving Minnesota communities high and dry. Once again, the federal government has shown it's incapable of delivering on its promises. So, what's the solution? Minnesota has a proud history of self-reliance. When Washington fails, your communities step up. You've built cooperatives, power systems, and water systems. Broadband should be no different, and in many places, it already isn't. Take Willmar. When private providers refused to invest, the city took matters into its own hands, building a network that's now expanding into a $24.5 million open access fiber project. This isn't just about faster internet. It's about families whose kids struggled through Zoom classes during COVID, finally getting reliable service. It's about entrepreneurs reaching clients nationwide without worrying about upload speeds. And it's about choice, true competition instead of monopolies. In Southwest Minnesota, 9 small towns joined forces to create Southwest Broadband, a regional cooperative network. The impact? Students in Worthington attend virtual classes seamlessly. Farmers outside Jackson use precision agriculture tools to save money and protect the environment. Local clinics expand telehealth so patients don't have to drive hours for routine appointments. This isn't just a network, it's a lifeline. Dakota County built one of the nation's first county-wide fiber backbones, connecting schools, libraries, and public safety facilities. The result? Students in Apple Valley access the internet at their libraries, and first responders share life-saving data in real time. Scott County's network extended opportunity into ignored neighborhoods, giving small businesses the bandwidth to grow and families access to telehealth. These aren't isolated experiments. Over 700 communities nationwide have chosen to own their broadband infrastructure. They're living proof that community-owned broadband works. But here's the bigger picture. Community broadband isn't just about fast internet. It's about transformation. Economically, businesses today prioritize high-capacity broadband when deciding where to locate. Hospitals expand services where fiber makes telehealth possible. Entrepreneurs launch startups in places they'd otherwise overlook. Population-wise, young people are more likely to stay in rural Minnesota if they can work remotely and access digital resources. Fiber broadband increases home values by 3 to 5%, making communities more attractive to buyers. And let's not forget cost savings. When cities own their networks, dollars stay local, reinvested in public priorities. Fiber also protects. With new sensing technology, it can detect accidents, prevent infrastructure damage, and even pick up earthquake tremors or gunshots. And for the future, fiber is the foundations that AI. Without robust fiber networks, the promise of AI remains out of reach. With fiber, Minnesota can lead in deploying these transformative technologies. So, let's be clear, federal programs have failed Minnesota. But Minnesota doesn't need to wait. The path forward is community broadband. Cities like Willmar, coalitions like Southwest Broadband, and counties like Dakota and Scott are models ready to be replicated. Broadband isn't just infrastructure, it's opportunity, fairness, and security. If Minnesota wants to close its digital divide once and for all, the answer is clear. Do it yourself. But here's the question I'll leave you with. Do you believe communities should rely on federal solutions, or is it time to take control of your own broadband future? Let's start the conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you.